Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Captain Logan Show. Hey, it's me, Captain Logan, and joining me, as always, is my wonderful chat moderator and producer, DJ Martinez. Hello, DJ. He's been hypnotized by the merry-go-round. We can't hear you, DJ. We still
Sorry
can't
about
hear
that.
you, DJ.
Sorry
Oh,
about
there you are.
that.
There you
That
are.
was very, very creepy. They turned off my mic too. The whole thing.
It shuts it all down, yeah.
The haunted carnival. I love carnivals, by the way. I don't know if I've ever talked about it on this channel, but like,
We
you
did
put a
theme parks
circus
last week, but
or a carnival in my movie, and I like the movie. Great movie. You ever see?
is that right?
Oh, I'm never gonna remember the name of it, but there's the Carnival of Souls. Have you seen that movie?
I still have never seen that.
Creepy '60s movie about it's awesome. I loved it.
Yeah,
It's
I'd
got
like
an
to see
awesome an organ soundtrack. She's an organ player in the film.
Neat.
It's great. Really cool.
I'll have to look at that. I want to see more creepy movies from that period.
Yeah, I love '60s horror movies because it was before '70s and '80s where we just turned everything into gore fests, which I don't care for.
Yeah. A little subtler, get in your head a little bit more. More psychological thrillers back then, too.
Yeah.
Well, welcome everybody. Thanks a bunch for joining us on the Captain Logan Show. It's just an absolute dice roll to see what we're going to ramble about in the preamble at the beginning of the show. You just never know what you might get. Of the 50 things I thought we might talk about, 60s horror was not one of them. Tonight we're going to do a lead-in topic about the seemingly the downfall that seems to be happening with Netflix right now. And throughout the program, of course, we will answer your questions, whatever you want to talk about after the lead-in topic and related to the lead-in topic, but totally open-ended after that. Anything you guys want to talk about with pop culture, Star Trek, science fiction, superhero stuff, anything under the sun within reason, and we'll talk to you for at least an hour this evening, starting a little bit late tonight, so I'm going to try not to run all the way into 2 hours, especially because we have Captain Logan After Dark tonight, our I almost said unscripted. The whole channel is unscripted and live right now. But our uncensored live show we do twice a month for Patreon. It's been actually about 3 weeks since we did the last one, so finally getting back to that. Just me and Brandon tonight, and we'll be chatting about the sorts of things we don't usually do on the channel. It'll be a lot of fun, real laid back. So if you want to make sure that your question or comment is discussed this evening, you can leave a super chat in any dollar amount. That will guarantee that, of course. We want to thank everybody who has done, ever will do that. You guys are wonderful. You keep the train rolling here on Geekvolution, but don't feel like you have to do that. We'll tackle as many pre-written questions, as many things in the comments outside of Super Chats as possible, and you can ping DJ at DJ Martinez or at The Welder or anything else that vaguely describes DJ. You could say at Blu-ray DVD Guy. He'll probably answer to that.
Just don't call me Shirley.
Hey, DJ, what happened to your arm? I don't mean your arm. I mean your mic arm. You used to have a mic arm. Are you shifting into turbo?
My mic arm is in the closet. It's right over there. I just took it off for a video that I just shot with my wife last night. She's in the first video on the channel.
What?
And we ranked our top 10 Disney animated films.
Wow.
So I wanted this kind of in the middle of us when we were shooting, so I just didn't put it back on yet. But yeah, that is exporting right now, and I'll get that up on the channel
so you
as soon
didn't
as I
shoot that
can.
live, because I didn't see that on your channel today when I was looking to see what you did recently.
I'm going to get that up probably tonight or tomorrow morning. And then on Saturday, I'm shooting a video with Dan. Dan's coming on the channel.
Yeah, cool.
We are going to count down we're going to rank all of the cinematic theatrical Spider-Man movies. So that should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that conversation because we agree on certain things and then we disagree on other things in that frame and in that character's films. So that should be a fun conversation. Should be heated.
Yeah, I don't know how heated it'll be, but originally, because I mean, I don't agree with with Dan about everything with Spider-Man either, but we line up on a lot. It's probably like 70-75%, and I imagine the same will be true with you. Honestly, I kind of thought your list would be identical or close to identical until you reminded me that you don't like some of the Raimi movies quite as well as Dan seems to. So I think you're absolutely right about that. Not to influence his list if he sees this, but...
No, he loves those first two movies, and I'm glad he does. So I'm sure they'll be pretty high on his list.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to listen to that. I don't think I've ever straight up ranked just the Spider-Man movies. We keep being forced to rank things on the live show just off the cuff lately, and it's been making me want to do more of that on Rewind Unscripted when I get back to that more regularly. life things just keep happening. I keep trying to start that up as a more regular thing, and I still haven't been able to get anything out past Batman Returns. But hopefully this Sunday. I don't want to promise anything. But anyway, welcome everybody. Let's go ahead and get right into it. And again, you can go ahead and start getting your questions in to DJ. So DJ, we found out this week that Netflix is... I mean, we knew they were kind of desperate and in dire straits. They had to be, but we're learning some numbers now. We know that they have lost upwards of 200,000 subscribers recently. That number might actually be bigger worldwide, I'm not sure, but recently that happened. And we know that they've lost 35% market share. And they've made what I think are a couple of really massive strategic mistakes that from their perspective might look necessary, and there's nothing they can do about it. Like, I want to be somewhat sympathetic to the business end just because I'm not there, or at least, I don't know, like, not that I'm, a huge Netflix fan to the point of, like, I trust everything this company does, and, they must know what they're doing. I don't know that they do totally know what they're doing right now, DJ, but, so I don't want to say benefit of the doubt necessarily, but if I knew more of, the bookkeeping end of it and just how bad things are over there, some of the seemingly desperate moves might make a little bit more sense. So, things they've done recently that I think have to be contributing to this, besides just like shows and movies they've lost that have made people unsubscribe because they don't need them anymore. I don't think I'm not saying it's a huge percentage of the 200,000, but losing most of the Star Trek shows can't have helped them. I know there's a lot of Star Trek fans that kept Netflix for years and years exclusively just for the convenience of having that in their pocket and being able to watch it anywhere they wanted to. There are other shows like that. Power Rangers was like that for the longest time. People used Netflix for Friends and for Seinfeld at one point, and a lot of different things. But also their originals are not doing anything like as well as they used to. People don't stay invested and engaged in their shows because even when they like things, they go, I'm just assuming this is going to get really bad at some point, or that Netflix will, even in the middle of a pretty decent show, decide to axe it for whatever reason. Both of those things have happened with the majority, if not all of their shows that have ended by this point. But the biggest mistake they've made recently, I think, is the price hike. And they're kind of notorious for raising prices and kind of messing with people with that. The most recent thing they've done, and I'm not seeing a lot of people talking about this in correlation to the subscriber drop, but DJ, as soon as this happened, I went, oh God, they're about to hemorrhage subscribers. And then 3 weeks later, this news came out. Coincidence? I think not. What they've done is they've said we're gonna have tiers again, and the new tier structure is for $10 a month. You can watch things in glorious 480p. Like, do you know about this?
You told me about this when we did our ranking video, yeah.
Okay, so it's been at least a month then. In 2022, DJ, we're doing a pricing tier on a streaming service based on video quality. You can't do that. Like, how out of touch is that? You can't do that now. Like, people are going to expect to be able to see everything in high def. You got to add commercials and make the price lower, and then you can watch something without commercials for a higher price. Okay, you want to have, like, additional content that you have another paywall on top of. People don't like that, but okay, but, like, you're going to do it based on video quality
but
now?
What, even how stupid that sounds, what is I don't get what the push is. Like, you already have people subscribed. You're putting a lower one. You're like, hey, for the people that want to get it cheaper from us, I don't get what they get out of it. Like, no one's going to be like, I didn't want Netflix now, but now that they have 480p for a $10 tier, I'm going to join. Like, I don't get even what it's for.
Well, and it's been a while since I've looked into it, but I think the higher tier is like 15. Did they have a tier that high before? Maybe they did. Maybe that was their high end when they hiked up last time.
Yeah, and I'm out of the loop on that. I've said on this channel before, I use my parent or my wife's parents' Netflix, so I don't even know what Netflix is charging these days. But I've heard it's been outrageous. It just keeps going up and up.
It's outrageous. Well, their response to uh, the way that they're suddenly hemorrhaging money and people are pulling out is let's start going after. And I don't know why you would make this public. Like, I think there was actually a public statement they made that included this. I don't think this was leaked information. They said, I could be wrong about that because I just saw a lot of outlets reporting on it. I didn't see exactly what the quote was, but Netflix decided the way we're going to keep some of our market share and not lose too much money is let's start going after shared accounts. You say that out loud, it's just going to make more people unsubscribe, right?
Yeah, that is weird that they would announce that.
Why would you say that out loud, even if you're doing it? That seems crazy because you already have this perspective of being less consumer friendly than you ever used to be. And people are already upset with you because you're canceling their favorite shows that were actually decent and you're not keeping things good for very long. I mean, that's the perception. And also that you're, you know, because Netflix was at one time as close to a one-stop shop for streaming stuff as you ever had. Not that they ever had anything like a grand selection that covered everything, but there was a time when you didn't have so many other players in the game that you could watch more streaming stuff on Netflix than anywhere else, and it created this perspective of, well, if I'm gonna stream, it's gonna be with Netflix, and Netflix and chill was a thing, and that feels like almost an outdated phrase now. I don't hear anybody say that anymore. Like they're no longer. The point I'm making is they're no longer synonymous with on-demand video and streaming, and you've got to be really careful in trying to retain the viewership that you have already, the subscriber base, and not alienate people. And every move they're making is a really alienating move. You know what it reminds me of? And it hurts my feelings because I used to really like this company. And I've said this before, but I was subscribed to Netflix before it was even a streaming operation. I did the mail order thing years and years ago because I'm an old person now. And back in 07, 08,
I did too.
I started doing the mail order, the thing where you would send in the last disc that you had in a little like paper mailer, and within 48 hours you'd get a new movie, and you just keep cycling them out. And you could do it with games too, and I think, or maybe it was just movies. And anyway, so that was no, there was a separate thing that was for games with a different company. But anyway, so that was really cool. And then they started adding streaming, and in the early days you could only watch 10 hours a month. It was crazy. It was like this grassroots, real early, like that. Let's see, like what bandwidth we can even get away with this. And it was the way that you did this. It was the way that you streamed. And I don't know, like I said, I used to really like this company, and now this is the thing that hurts my feelings. It reminds me of what happened to MoviePass.
MoviePass was incredible. I saved so much money in 2017. I saw so many movies, and then just plummeted.
They're making it less and less valuable to you.
Yeah. Well, that was, and it's the same thing, right? They're both
desperate.
Unsustainable business plans. They're just like, let's borrow as much money, and then we hope that we'll make enough money to pay for it. And nope, you're not.
Never happen. And then at the same time that you're losing subscribers, you have to be. And I don't know this for a fact, but there's no way that they're not also having a difficult time on the creative end, right? Like, they've got to have people that were making shows for them wanting to go to Max and Disney Plus and Paramount Plus and everywhere else.
Well, that's what's interesting is like all of the like big Netflix was like the place for big directors and creatives to go to because they let them do whatever they want. Maybe not for the TV, that's a different thing, but for like all the films, like lately, like Scorsese.
No, it was the auteur film plays.
Yeah, they were the place that was funding all these movies that couldn't get funded to go into the theaters.
Yep.
And they were doing great. Apparently, that wasn't a good business move either, because those movies don't make a lot of money, and you're just funding movies that no one's seeing. But they really wanted to get the first the first Best Picture from a streamer, and then Apple stole it this year, so they're really mad
So
about
where do
that.
you think those? We're getting a little bit off track, but where do you think those movies will start to go if Netflix continues to fall apart the way they look like they are? Like, do they
Ooh, that's a
go?
good.
Do they go back to the main um studios that were putting them in the theaters before, but now they just put them on their streaming services, right? It's like, okay, I guess I'll throw my hands in the air, begrudgingly go back to Warner Brothers, go back to Disney, but then just put those on those streaming services because more people have those and they're not in trouble, they're doing okay. Is that where they go? Or do you start seeing places like Criterion have original movies? Because I could see something like that happening.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know if they could fund something like that.
Not yet.
Yeah,
Not
that's
yet.
interesting. But they actually are producing a lot of the Netflix, like Roma and Irishman both went. They both got a release on Criterion that year. So they're releasing some of the Netflix ones. So at least we won't lose those if Netflix completely goes under. But that's a lot of stuff that was never put on physical. Like it's a really good thing that the Marvel shows are on Disney Plus now because a lot of those didn't get physical releases. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Netflix is ever going to go under, but they're definitely. I mean, I've been saying they're not one of the top three streaming services for a while, but I think a lot more people
Same
are going
here.
to agree with that for now. Like,
I think it would be really ironic after you said that, DJ, if we got to a place where Netflix went back to what they were at the beginning, but didn't have anything like the market share they had. Where like now it's all about original stuff. When this all started, it was all about curating, right? It was like here are recent things that have come out, but were in the theater first or broadcast television, and then Netflix gets the rights to not broadcast them, but have them direct streaming. And then eventually they get too big for their britches. They start making a bunch of their own original programming that blows up for a minute, but then now that's the big ticket, so everybody else is doing that, right? So fast forward to what, 5-10 years from now, is it possible that we'll see Netflix actually going back to that original model and they're just kind of scraping at the bottom of the barrel like they sort of have been lately, actually. But instead of making original programming, it's just everything that the big studios and companies don't own that aren't on their streaming services right
yeah,
now.
that's the thing is Netflix isn't tied to any studio, so they don't have.
No, they are a studio,
Yeah,
sort of.
they don't have any catalog by default that they can fill out their streaming service with, like every
No,
other one does.
no, they have a catalog of things that they've made for originals, but some of those things they don't. I want to say some of those things they don't actually own. That must be true given what happened with the Marvel Netflix stuff, right? Like they've got different contracts with different companies and creators and stuff, right? So
Yeah, I guess so. I don't think any of us knew that that was ever a possibility with the Netflix shows until it happened. Like,
I knew that they didn't 100% own that because of the Disney licenses and all of that, and that
yeah,
that whole franchise, for lack of a better word, fell apart because Netflix and Disney couldn't get along creatively, and
hmm
they started having like crazy shouting matches allegedly in the middle of pitch meetings and stuff, and then it was like, okay, this has got to go, this is done, and so
yeah. I knew it had to be a collab, but I didn't know that they could just have all of them back.
no,
Like
I thought
that.
that if anything, they would get to a point where they didn't even have an agreement anymore. Like a contract would go up, and like neither of them would be able to stream them or print them or anything. That was kind of
Oh,
my worry with those. They would go in limbo like '60s Batman did for so long that you just wouldn't even be able to get them.
that would have been crazy.
Yeah,
My Daredevil season one Blu-ray would have been worth a fortune back there.
yeah, and it'd be the only way you'd be able to watch it, and no special features. But thank God you had it.
Yeah, but wow.
And for because you own it, you wouldn't have to pay $10 a month to watch Daredevil in glorious 480p.
Man, and it is exactly Movie Pass, right? Like Netflix was the first one there. That's why they got huge. It's like a much more like Movie Pass was a super condensed version of this story. Like they died in like a year, but
Yeah.
Netflix has taken longer, but they were the first ones there, so everyone knew them.
No, Netflix
And
is like a
that
20-year-old company, right?
but like with Movie Pass, everyone said, "Oh, this is a good idea." And they all did it better with AMC Stubs and
Yeah.
Regal Rewards or all those different ones.
And some of them did it worse, but just had more power in the market.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what I mean. I don't mean better for the consumer. I just mean it's a better business. Like
Right.
they're not like hemorrhaging like Movie Pass was. And that's what
Yeah, I mean,
happened
I
to
think the
Netflix.
Stubs program was the best compromise where it made business sense for them and they could actually get away with doing it, but it actually offered the consumer enough that it was worth doing that month to
Mhm.
month. Like Cinemark has a thing right now that's terrible that I don't know why anybody would get on that. But we're getting off the beaten path now. But it's like $8.99 a month, and you get like one movie ticket per month, and like 20% off, like popcorn and stuff, and then they waive online fees, and it's like, okay, well, I mean, at that point, I'll just keep my $9 because that's about what I'm paying
Yeah, that's
with
really
the other
weird.
stuff that because I mean, like everybody's different, but like I'm not getting concessions because it costs like 5 times what the tickets do, and I don't know,
Yeah.
like
I don't get that. That's
that
another
doesn't
video
give
we can
you
talk about.
anything.
I never get concessions. I don't get concessions. They're so expensive. But anyway, I was just comparing to MoviePass that like
I
Netflix was
know.
the first to the game, and now
I'm
all
scatterbrained.
these other streaming services are doing a better job. And now it's like, oh, we're not the only
Yeah,
ones anymore. We actually have to compete.
exactly. Well, let's go to comments and see what folks are saying about this. I know Bob the Hun has been talking a lot about Netflix's politics and that having something to do with their losing subscribers. I don't want to get into that just because I'm not real familiar with the ins and outs of all of that. I know that Cuties movie was a big problem for them, but I know nothing about that. Do you know about that whole thing?
No, well, I haven't heard about the politics thing being an issue. I didn't even know. I don't know anything about Netflix. I heard that movie was. I don't know. I know next to nothing about the movie. It
It
was
was exploiting
people thought
children.
exploded. It was exploiting children.
Yes.
That's all I know.
That's all I really know about it as well.
But I haven't seen it, so I don't know if it's one of those things where it's like actually a commentary on that and people just misunderstood it, or if it literally was. I have no idea because I haven't seen it
Yeah,
or
well, and I didn't want to have to watch it to see who was right with that
yeah.
argument, so I didn't bother with it. So I don't have a dog in that fight. All I
Yeah,
know
me
is
neither.
something movie about child pornography. I think that's what it was about.
Oh,
And somebody correct me if I'm wrong because this has been months or a year or two, and I just don't remember anymore. But that it was. The people thought that it was exploiting children and bordering on the very thing that that was ostensibly criticizing and talking about. I
mm,
I don't know because I didn't see it. But
same.
but that was a while ago, and this huge subscriber count or subscriber loss happened a lot more recently. So I mean, I think that for various reasons they were already in some hot water with their customer base, and they were getting their reputation tarnished for various reasons. But I think it probably has more to do with what little I know about the political side. Maybe that is more of a stake in it. There's some other folks in the comments right now kind of arguing with that, saying that they don't think that has as much to do with it. And not knowing very much, I agree with that, but not a super informed opinion. So take that with a grain of salt, of course. But I think it probably has a lot more to do with just the recent business practices. As soon as I saw
Yeah.
$10 for 480p, I was like, I don't know if I want to stay a subscriber to this. Is it worth it? Just on principle that you would be so tone deaf to do that. It's not even as much how it affects me, although I don't want to pay $15 just to get it in high def. Like,
Well, that's what's preposterous. Whenever HBO Max came out, which I think is a much better streaming service, includes all of HBO, which was already $15. People are mad about HBO Max being $15, saying it's too expensive. Now Netflix, one of the worst streaming services, is going to try to charge that much.
yeah,
It's crazy.
after everything they've lost, where
Yeah.
it's like conventional wisdom would tell you that the way, and again, I don't know the ins and outs of what exactly is happening with their business, and I'm not an economics major, and that's not my forte, but basics, tell me if I'm wrong, basic supply and demand principles with economics would tell you, I would think, total layman here, that if you're in real bad shape and there's a lot of competition and you were the big dog on campus and now other dogs came in and started eating your lunch, wouldn't you drop the price before you'd raise it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, but they probably can't. They're probably
Yeah.
just so underwater that there's no way the numbers work if they do that.
How much debt are they in is the real question.
Probably almost as much as America's in.
I've
I'm
been
kidding.
watching a lot of Shark Tank lately. I like that show a lot. And every time I see a story
Interesting.
like this, it makes me, yeah, just in the background all day long. For the last 2 months, all I've been watching is Shark Tank during the day. And I want to see, when I see a story like this, I want to see the CEO of a huge corporation we all know like this walk into the Shark Tank, not to get a deal with the sharks, but just so that the sharks can tell them what's wrong, everything that's wring with their business plan.
They should do a season like that. It's like Celebrity Shark
I
Tank
would
or
love it. It would be fantastic.
Big Business Shark Tank. Show you how to do it right. That's hilarious.
And then I want to see Kevin O'Leary tell somebody with a major corporation that we all know and maybe some of us love that they have a horrible idea and they should take it to the barn and shoot it. Like, I want to see that happen. It's like, man, I don't know about Target. I think you should take it to the barn and shoot it. Nicholas Robinson, yes, but they're in debt. Yeah, that was my instinct, that they must be massively in debt. Bob the Hun Cuties was a different controversy. So there's even some other controversy I'm not aware of that he's talking about. Alex Barron Cuties is about a child dance group. The way the dance scenes were choreographed and shot was considered exploitative. Okay, so it wasn't about pornography. I didn't know what it was. I had just
and Tom
heard
puts
rumblings about it.
Tom put in a $5 super chat about this. We'll just wrap this up because it has nothing to do with anything. But
Absolutely.
it was about a dance contest group and it was made in France. I haven't seen it, says Tom. Makes a lot more sense if it was made in France. Different country, different cultural rules. It sounds like Americans just freaked out at something that's more common in France, which happens all the time with foreign films.
That's an excellent point.
But shall we? Or what are we talking about?
Well, let's go ahead and knock out the other couple of super chats we have.
Yes.
Because it looks like at least one of them is also about this. And then, before we get to more questions, I have another quick topic I would like to knock out real quick.
Oh, sweet.
So go right ahead and read us some questions, DJ.
All right.
DJ, before I go to bed on Thursday nights, always reads me several bedtime stories.
I do. Right, written by the lovely commenters.
That's right. You
That's
guys
all I
are
can
all way
read.
more published than I am at this point.
All I know how to read is YouTube comments, guys. All right, T-Edge won $10.
This is also a phonics program. We teach people to read through YouTube comments.
Oh yeah.
Because
It's
I
a
know that little
nonprofit.
kids would be absolutely riveted with our commentary on the downfall of Netflix.
Well, with on that note, $10 from Tom. Beep beep beep. Do you hear that? It's the sound of Netflix on life support. Beep beep beep. This does sound like a children's book.
It does.
Great show tonight, guys. What is your favorite and least favorite thing on Netflix? You guys are awesome. Well, watch the video we just made because we ranted about Netflix for about half the video.
Was it that long? Because I remember complaining a lot more about Paramount Plus.
Yeah, but that was peppered in throughout. You got
That's true.
The Netflix was like one block. You sprinkled one each number you sprinkled in a pepper.
I thought it was important that as long as
Paramount
that
Plus.
video was, that if you went in and only listened to 10 minutes of it, you would hear some disparaging comment about Paramount Plus. That was very important to me.
Well, you made it like the film Don't Look Up, where you could watch any 10 minutes of that movie and you get the same preachy message. It's just the same thing over and over and over for 2 hours. And it's why I turned it off an hour through because it was terrible.
Real quick, is anybody else imagining like you know when you were a kid and you had the CNCs, you know, where like you pull the string and it spins and then it's like, what does the cow say? I'm like, what does the life support machine say?
Oh yeah, I could grab one right back there. My son's has a turkey on it and it goes.
What does the turkey say? It always sounds like it needs batteries, but it never does because it's not battery operated. You know what I mean? But like it always just sounds like really warped and garbled.
Sounds like like you're going through a drive-through window from like the 80s.
What do you like fries with that? What do the fries say? I can't do this without doing a Bane voice on accident. Like
He's ruined us. He's ruined us forever. We can't do any other voices.
what does Bane say? Netflix is going to get out of this video with no subscribers.
There we go. That made it all worth it. So what is your least favorite thing, to answer the question about Netflix?
Boy, these days, I mean, I only go to Netflix for like the few things that are still there that I like. I'm not watching any original programming intentionally over there. So like I'm not sure what they have that I'm sure there's stuff they have I don't like. But at the moment, I don't know. I mean, I've mostly kept my account there for the few cartoons and things that my kids still watch there. We used to keep it for the couple of Power Rangers programs they still have. Most of it's on YouTube now, so even Mighty Morphin we can watch on YouTube at this point. But also, like, the new seasons of Power Rangers show up there still. And I'm going to have to still hang on to my subscription, DJ, because the new Hasbro reboot stuff is all going to be there. They made a deal with Netflix. At the same time as I keep hearing rumors about them starting a streaming service, I don't understand that. Maybe that's not happening. I don't even know.
Saban streaming service.
Well, no, Hasbro.
Oh, okay, they should call it the Morphing Grid. And then because everything's in a grid. I mean, the streaming service is all grids.
Sure.
Perfect.
That would work.
All right. We have another $5 super chat from Ian Chandler.
Do you not have? I guess you wouldn't have a favorite thing, at least favorite thing there, because you're not subscribed there anymore. But like.
Oh yeah, I mean I have tons of least favorite things. I mentioned before I hate that they default to automatically skipping the intro and the credits. And
well, no, I
starting
thought
the
he
next
was
one
talking about programming, like your favorite and least favorite thing on Netflix. I thought is what he said.
Oh, what? Yeah, he says what is your favorite and least favorite thing on Netflix?
I thought you were talking about programs. That's
no
what I'm
idea.
saying. Yeah.
That's sorry, Tom. Weird question. I wouldn't know what my least favorite thing is because I don't watch it.
Yeah. Same here. I mean, it used to be Iron Fist. You know, I mean, I used to be able to answer this certainly, you know, and like, actually, it would have been the last. Okay, no, I can still because this is still there. The last season of House of Cards. That's easy.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely, that's the worst thing on Netflix that I've seen.
Yeah, that you've seen. I mean, there's a ton of original Netflix movies that are. I think
they're still holding on to DS9 for right now, so I guess that's the best thing on Netflix to me. But I don't know. Maybe they've already lost that too. I can't even remember. Now I have to watch Star Trek on Paramount Plus and hope to God that it functions. Anyway.
Yeah, I guess real quick I'll throw out the TV show Space Force, which I think is a Netflix original. I really, really loved the first season of that.
I didn't know you watched that.
And the second season has dropped, but because I don't like Netflix so much, I haven't even started it yet. It's been on there for like a month. I need to see if
I was curious about that, but wasn't sure if it would be my bag for comedy, so I didn't bother with it. But
yeah, I don't know if it would be. It's very much my thing. It's very dry and sarcastic and kind of like finding the humor in like mundane stuff. It's very much it was kind of a spiritual successor to The Office for me, which
okay, then I'm not going to bother with it
because The Office ended horribly. The last few seasons of that show are unwatchable, terrible.
Well, and I know Umbrella Academy was there, and you were watching that show.
I did. I still really liked the first season of that. Wasn't too keen on the second season. Hopefully the third season is great. We'll see.
I still haven't watched that.
I don't know if I'll watch it, but. All right, Ian Chandler, $5. Howdy, Cap.
Howdy.
Seeing as we got the Sonic Origins trailer, what's your favorite classic Sonic game? Also, any thoughts on Netflix's Sonic Prime show? Tied it back in.
So I'll start there and just say I had heard about that show. I don't in the moment remember any details about that at all. I don't actually know what that show what they're doing with Prime. I totally forgot that was a thing. But it seems like that's one of those inevitable titles, right? Because we had Transformers Prime. Like that's one of those words we like to use in shows, especially kid shows. I don't remember anything. If I did read anything about that, I'm not in the moment recalling. So I'm interested to see what that looks like, but I don't remember anything about it. As far as my favorite classic Sonic game, it is objectively, like I think that is still the best of those, but the one I'm most nostalgic for is Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and particularly Sonic and Knuckles, because growing up for me, that's two separate games, and now I only play them together if I can. But yeah, DJ, I wanted to talk about Sonic Origins. If I can go ahead and use this to segue real quick, that was one of my items for this evening, if it didn't come up. So it's come up, so I'm going to go ahead and talk about it for a second. I have never had, or rarely had, DJ, this much of a love-hate relationship with an announcement for something. Sonic Origins looks just absolutely lovely and brilliant and exactly what it needed to be to make me buy those games for the 552nd time. because Sonic Origins is the original 4 Genesis games for the first time in a really long time, because nobody's been able to publish 3 and Knuckles again with the original music because of rights issues with the Michael Jackson music. Now that we know that Michael Jackson was actually involved with the writing for some of the music with that game, and that's been an issue for years and years now. It's part of the reason that all the music for the Sonic levels in Lego Dimensions, when that was a thing, was so atrocious. And if you ever go back and if you happen to have that, or you ever find it real cheap and you ever play those, just turn the sound off and listen to actual Sonic music, because it's horrifying what they did with that. It's just melodies that dance around the original melodies, and it just hurts my feelings. Like,
can you turn off the music and keep the sound effects in that game? Because then you could just play it on your phone or whatever.
I think maybe you can in that. I don't remember. It's been a long time since I played that. But
why don't more games let you play your own music in the game? I was a big fan of the SSX franchise, which is a snowboarding thing, and in the latest one on like PS4, you could play your own music in the game, like, so with the sound effects still. It was really cool.
How would you link it up like that? How did you get your music into the game?
Just with the hard drive on my PS4.
Oh, interesting. That's really cool. I didn't know it had a music player like that.
It was super cool because it was a snowboarding game, and like when you would drop off a big drop, like it would drop the sound out, but it was your music, and then it would pop, it would fill back in.
Awesome.
Like it was really cool how they did it.
Well, and that's really appropriate for that. I mean, I guess for almost anything, it could be cool to have that feature. Like the Sonic games, half of what makes those great is the music. So it would be really kind of strange to want to pump your own music in if it's the original music, I would think. But if it isn't, it'd be really nice to have that option, sure. Yeah. Anyway, so the game looks wonderful. Everything's in widescreen now. We've never had that for the first 2 Sonic games, and having that wider depth of field makes it so much nicer to play side-scrollers if it's not in 4x3. So, like, there's a really good reason to have that, not just the aspect ratio of TVs is widescreen now. And it's all remastered. We've never done that with those games, like actually, honest to God, remaster them. There are a bunch of new game modes and a bunch of stuff that they've never tried before. There's a whole, like, I don't know if it's like ground up remake exactly, but there's a mode where they've done some different things to backgrounds and stuff where the game looks different. Like there's a boss in, I don't know if it's Sonic 2 or 3, but there's a boss in one of the levels that they showed in the trailer where you're fighting in front of a giant pipe organ. Like there's new stuff in the game. It's cool. It's almost like if Sonic Mania had just been the original games but reworked a little bit. And they did do retro levels in that game, but it had a bunch of new stuff as well. This is, in a weird way, almost like a backwards spiritual successor or predecessor, where like you might have expected this to come out, and then if that was successful, then they'd let Whitehead make Sonic Mania, because it is headcanon in Whitehead making this game, and it's bittersweet for a couple of reasons, but partly because they're not doing a Sonic Mania 2, and Sega and Whitehead seem to have had a falling out, and they're not working real well together in making another game, so that fell through. That's not happening, and it sounds like it might never happen, but then this still is happening. So at least we're getting this. But anyway, so like I said...
Well, what's the downside? You're saying all great things. What's wrong with it?
The downside is the pricing structure.
Oh, a structure instead of just a price.
So they're doing it like a modern game. So headcanon built the whole game, but Sega is in charge of course, how exactly the whole thing is put together and implemented. And they've decided to have like in-game purchases and stuff for re-releases of 25, 30-year-old games, DJ. It's preposterous. And it bothers me. Like, there's a part of me that doesn't want to support it. And I have to because it's too good. Like, another thing I didn't mention is apparently they're going to have a story mode where the guys that did the animatics or the animations for the beginning, which are really pretty, for the beginning of Sonic Mania, are doing cutscenes in between levels. And I think the idea is that you can play all of the, and by the way, Sonic CD is in it too, that you can play all of the games in a row as one game experience with a story mode with cutscenes in between with animations done by those guys, I can't not play this.
But you hate story modes. You hate cutscenes.
I do, but A, they're really pretty, and B, they made a way for these games that I've played 100,000 times and rebought a bunch of times, a different experience.
That's cool.
That's crazy. Like, I have to play it once. And
that's
so,
awesome.
like, I'm angry about and I'll talk about this in a second. I'm angry about the price structure, but I also would pay almost anything for it because I have to play it. You know what I mean? Like, if this, like, I just know myself. If this game was $100,
gonna buy this.
I would sit down and make an hour-long show about how angry I was that I was going to have to pay $100. But at the end of the day, I would still fork my money over. And I don't like that about myself, kind of. But then I have to play it. It's for me. I want it too bad. So like, they know they can take advantage of people like me, and they're doing it, and I'm gonna be taken advantage of, but I have the right to complain about it. So here's what they're doing. The base game is $40.
That's a little steep, but
It's a little
be
steep
reasonable.
For a game, like, it's cool, all the extra modes and things, and if it was like a hard copy and not even that, even digital download, if they included all of the extras and stuff, $40 is pretty reasonable. But that's just the base game. There are extras and things that you're not going to get with that. And some of it is random stuff that I don't know why. It's just insulting. Some of it's random stuff that I don't know why you would pay for, that I don't have to have. But I want the complete game, whatever's in it, if that makes any sense. Because Sonic's, especially early Genesis Sonic, is a big thing for me. I gotta have the whole thing. So one of the things
I had to buy all the DLCs for the Spider-Man game because it's Spider-Man.
Yeah,
some of them were pretty lame, but oh well, I have to buy it.
They're doing, it's nuts, all the modes they're doing. They're doing a mirror mode for the first time ever, so you can play levels backwards, which is neat. But they're putting that under a paywall.
That's weird.
There is a feature. They have this really cool menu where they've got like a 3D map, like a 3D island that looks really pretty, and you can see like all the levels in this island. Okay, that's cool.
Oh wow, that's really cool.
But guess what? They're putting the ability to use your stick to move it around under a paywall.
What? That's amazing. What?
It's preposterous, and the list goes on and on. And there's this whole pricing structure, like graph, that is like hard to look at and difficult to understand. Everyone's confused about it.
That'd be like if you couldn't like look at the stats on your Mario Kart, or you couldn't like turn the cart around and see what the back of it looked like when you're selecting it was under a paywall.
Yeah, this is a low-res image, but I'll just show you this graphic real quick, because it's
cool.
Because it's good. Just look at this thing. There's like 5 tiers, and there's like a fun pack, and it has that thing where it's like, these things are included in this one, and these are not. And I'm like, for a re-release compilation, you're doing this?
Is it called Sonic Origins Plus? Or one of those tiers? I wish they would name all those tiers.
Well, and you know, they did that with Sonic Mania, and like, I don't want to be a hypocrite. Sonic Mania had DLC, but it was a complete game in the first place. I mean, at the very least, some of this stuff, they just, if they're gonna do as DLC, because you're getting, to be fair, you are getting enough with the initial release that they could probably get away with pretending like it was ideas they had after the fact. But the fact that they're starting with it is just making everybody angry right away, and for good reason. Like, and I don't want to be manipulated like that, but you could almost convince me that, okay, here's a complete game, and then here is some DLC after the fact. But a lot of this stuff isn't like real DLC. It's like nickel and diming kind of stuff.
Well, like, why did they even announce it?
The plus with Mania was this whole other game mode that retooled the levels and gave you different color palettes and a whole different way to play the game. After a year after you've been playing it, that seemed reasonable to me. And like right away they put out a version that if you hadn't played Sonic Mania yet, you could just get all of it together. So I don't know, like that all seemed fair. This is pre-order stuff.
It's really weird that they wouldn't just keep that under their hats until later.
Yeah.
It would look so much better. Even if there was the plan all along, it would just look better if you didn't announce it ahead of time. Maybe they're
I
just trying to get all these pre-orders in before the Sonic bubble bursts. I mean, you got to thank those two movies for this happening to some degree. No, you don't like. Well, you like the second one better.
I'm not sure that's true. I think this might happen regardless. It's weird that they haven't done more actual tie-in stuff to those movies. That movie just came out. Why isn't the game out? Why didn't the game come out?
Yeah, they seem completely
next week. They seem
on
totally
the same
unrelated.
page.
Why didn't it come out for the anniversary, DJ? There was no anniversary game. So you're telling me that they're intentionally tying in to a movie because it came out this year, but they're going to wait 3 months to put the game out?
Well, I wasn't saying
or
they're
2 months
tying into
after
it,
the movie came out. I don't think they have anything to do with each other.
Yeah, I don't think they're talking to each other, but they might be like, okay, Sonic is popular now because these movies are doing really well, so we think we can get away with making a game, but we're not going to like actually try to tie it in or release it or anything.
So I think it's more that this is stuff that the fan community was working on for a long time regardless, and Sega is begrudgingly taking advantage of it because they know it'll make money. That's what's really happening, because Whitehead and those guys were just doing this for the, for their own amusement, really, and for the community, and because it was stuff that they thought Sega should be doing, and that's why Mania happened. Because he had done a brilliant retooling and remaster of Sonic CD for phones and other devices, and then finally, begrudgingly, Sega decided to work with him. Like all the guys working on this stuff, it's still just labors of love, is all it is. This would have never happened if those guys weren't already developing some of this stuff.
Yeah. Sorry, I got distracted in the chat because someone's messing around with Mutali and pretending that they're related to me.
That's weird. No, I would also be distracted by that. I knocked that off. We're trying to have a really important conversation about a Sonic compilation. I'm sorry for spending this much time on this topic, but it was just a thing I really wanted to talk about. Okay, so let's do that. Actually, wasn't even the topic I wanted to mention. So let's do some more super chats, and then we'll get. And the other thing will not take that long. And isn't news? It's a me thing. But anyway. What else do folks want to talk about?
We got a super chat about Sonic from T-Edge1, $5. Okay. Mario Maker was a moderate success. Would a Sonic Maker be more or less successful?
Mario Maker was a massive success. It did really well. That's why they made another one for Switch. Yeah. No, I don't agree with moderate success, and that still has. Not that I know exactly how many units they sold or anything, but it still has a community. I'm pretty sure that did really well. But anyway. I mean, well enough that they haven't continued putting out 2D Mario games. I would love to see a Sonic Maker. I wanted that immediately after I heard about Mario Maker. I was like, okay, when you do both of those, I can die happy. And there were other people that were like, okay, I need it for Mega Man, I need it for Castlevania. That's what I need, though. I need the Sonic Maker on top of that. Or Metroid would be cool, but yeah, definitely Sonic. I don't think it would do as well as Mario, and I think it would be, by definition, more clunky to try to build levels in it, no matter how good the interface was, just because you can make Mario levels that don't have the best level design, where Mario, because of the way he moves, can still easily get through levels. If you don't design a Sonic level right, it's going to be really unfun and horribly unplayable. The character just moves too fast, and, with Spin Dash and stuff, like, you have to design levels in such a way where he's going to be able to move like Sonic, if that makes any sense. And so Mario, that's the perfect customizable sandbox.
I think that's almost the only one you could do. Like, I love Donkey Kong, but you couldn't make a Donkey Kong Maker. Those levels are too, like, there's too much going on in those levels. Mario is, you could have, like, you've done this before, you can make a level where it's just like things to jump on, and it's like nothing. It's just like an empty level that's just like really hard platforms to jump on, and it still feels like Mario, because that's what Mario is.
Yeah, well, and that's a good point with Donkey Kong and Sonic, but Donkey Kong Country especially. What would some of the items even look like that you would put in the backgrounds and stuff? Like, there's too much design in those games.
Yeah. Well, and it has
to make it look like a credible, authentic Donkey Kong level.
Yeah. I don't know if there's any other game system you could do
I'm
that
gonna
with
use the
except
foliage tool.
yeah, it's like a brush. You just like paint trees in the background. But yeah, I think maybe you could. The only other thing I can think of would be like Legend of Zelda, because that's like a whole different thing. Like
Sure.
you're just building mazes or like
Dungeon crawlers make a
done.
lot of
Yeah,
sense.
you
Yeah.
could do that. But I don't know about yeah. Sonic would be cool, but it'd be really hard. And I don't know if the normal everyday person would be good at that. I don't even know if you'd be good at that. I don't know if we'd be
I
good.
wouldn't. I would want to try it. Once or twice. I'd spend my $60 and I'd play with it over a weekend, and they'd be like, "I'm so glad this exists. I can't do it, but I'm glad I have it. I gotta hang on to this."
That's even what I had with Mario Maker. I loved it, but I never stuck with it.
But at least you could play other people's levels. You
Yeah.
could do that. Like you wouldn't have to have it to keep making levels. You could just download,
Yeah,
levels at
but then
nauseam.
that broke. But then I'm kind of mad about that because that broke. We don't make Mario games anymore because it's like, oh, we have millions of levels that you can play. So why would you care about eight
Well,
levels that
what
we
I
built?
wish they do. I didn't mean to talk this long about this subject. And I know I've been doing a lot of video game stuff lately, but I've just been in the mood for retro stuff, and so that's where I'm at. And I tend to talk about whatever I'm doing. But with regards to making new 2D games, all they would have to do, DJ, is occasionally release DLC packs for. And I know sometimes I complain about DLC, but I like it when you do it right. If you have a complete game in the first place and you just keep giving us more content, some games make sense to not keep putting out new versions of the game as opposed to just adding new stuff. Like, I'm fine with the way they're doing the Mario Kart tracks right now. You and I have talked about that because we played them. Like, I don't need a brand new
Yeah.
Mario Kart game. The game's good, the tracks are good. It's been 8 years, but the graphics still hold up well enough for me. I don't need them to give us a whole brand new game. Just keep putting new tracks out, and they're doing that. Do exactly the same thing with Mario Maker. So I know that we've got a community of people making games with the same software, by the way, that the developers of the games were going to be using, and then they just gave it to us as a game. That's how that happened. But it would be cool if the Nintendo developers would just occasionally give us packs of official licensed Mario courses. Because one of the nice things about Mario Maker 2 is it is also, and I don't know if you played through them, but it's also a complete 8 world. Actually, it's not 8 world, but it's that amount of levels. Like Mario game in and of itself. Like it's a really solid like actual 2D Mario game. I would go as far as to say that even if you only bought that game for the levels they gave you, like they're not just tutorial levels and they're not just like here's cool things you can do with the tools, like it serves that purpose. But it's a solid game all by itself. You could buy it just for that and it would have been worth the money. So they should just occasionally, especially now that they have the World Maker, they should just occasionally make their own and maybe 3-4 times a year just give you packs that you buy.
I would love that. That sounds great because I never got Mario Maker 2 because, like I said, I never played the first one enough to really justify the $60.
You should. Because again, I think just the courses they give you at the beginning are worth the $60.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Super Mario Brothers cost that, and I think the levels in that game are better. So than some of those anyway. I mean, there's several of those, but
yeah. Well, I'll have to do that. Once my son's a little older, I'll have more time for video games. But right now, it's just like I have no time, except for when everyone's asleep and I'm playing Mario Kart with Cap and Austin.
yeah, but it was worth it.
No, it was great.
It was worth it for me. I had a lot of fun doing that.
I had so much fun. We need to do that again when the next pack comes out, or before, whenever.
Absolutely, no, I'd love to. Well, we can play other things.
We can. $9.99 from Adrian Reina Martinez.
Any relation?
Yeah, so that's what Mutali asked him, and he was like, "Yeah."
Oh, that's why the distraction. I see.
And Mutali was like, "Oh, sorry." But now he's just messing with him. He says, "Been watching way more YouTube than I do Netflix these days, so we might actually get rid of it."
That's a good point. I almost brought that up earlier, DJ. Somebody in the comments, and I forgot to read this, was suggesting that the days of just streaming content like we have right now could be numbered anyway because of all the people that aren't even watching mainstream Hollywood content anymore.
Yeah, that could be a big thing. That's definitely a generational. It's crazy to think of Netflix as another generation already, but I guess it kind of
But it is.
is.
They started making their original content 10 years ago now.
That's crazy.
Maybe 11. Yeah. It's 2012.
Yeah, short form content, man. That's what the Gen Z is about. Quick, and then get out. Like Netflix is, you're still making 42-minute episodes. Like, get out of here. What are you doing, Netflix?
Well, and also people just don't care. I mean, a lot of people, like you said, it's generational. But even, some people my age have just gotten kind of disenfranchised with the Hollywood system and with the sheer amount of content that's always being thrown at us and all of that. And like, yeah, it's a saturated market everywhere. All the independent stuff and people just making crap in their basement like I'm doing, this is all also way too saturated. But you don't necessarily, it's a lot easier to pick and choose like what person just making content in his house you want to look at versus like mainstream professional stuff that too much of it seems like, I guess this is supposed to be important. I'm supposed to be watching them. Am I going to miss a cultural touchstone somewhere? You know what I mean? Or at least I sort of have that sometimes, where it's a lot easier for me to just kind of write all of it off and be like, I guess I don't care about new anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
I've done that for a couple of years now.
But I guess that's not fair, because I guess for kids, the YouTubers and the TikTok makers and Twitch and all of that, like, those are the cultural touchstones now. There are about 10 or 15, like, everybody my son's age knows. Like, everybody knows who Dream is. I don't know who the hell that is. I don't know what his face looks like. I've never seen a video. But they all talk about this guy.
And that also adds to the whole disposable entertainment thing. Like,
Yes.
Nobody goes back to old YouTube video. I mean, some people do, but like, it's like you watch it once, boom. You don't think about it because it's not a story driven thing. It's just like, you just like the content creator and you watch what they put out. You don't ever go back to it. You don't. So it's like that mentality has crept into Hollywood, and
That's what they're
just
kind of
pumping
trying
out
to get us to do now.
movies.
But they also expect us to remember everything. But sometimes hope we won't remember anything all at the same time. You notice that? Where it's
very
like,
weird.
don't notice any of the continuity mistakes because you're only supposed to have seen the thing one time and remember it the way we tell you it happened. But also, remember all the references that we're trying to make you nostalgia for. Or
But that's why the references are so obvious and on the nose, because it's like, this is a reference that you remember if you saw it once 20 years ago. If you've seen it 6 times, if you watch this movie all the time, it's one of your favorite movies, then the reference is like, duh, like, could you go
But
a
I'm
little
talking
bit
about
deeper?
even with TV shows. Sometimes like a season 3 or 4 will call back to things that you won't remember happened in the first season because you haven't had time to go back and rewatch it. Because you have all these other things that are vying for your attention, but at the same time, it can't keep up with its own continuity and is making, gaffes in the middle of it. It's bizarre. Yes, I'm talking about Picard, but there's other things that do this too.
Oh, okay. I was like, what are you doing?
There's other things that do this too.
This doesn't only have 2 seasons?
Oh, it can't. It doesn't know what's going on episode
Okay, sorry.
to episode.
I won't start us on that.
Yeah, anyway, so he had more of a message.
Yes, he says, by the way, sent you a message over Facebook about a week ago. Would love to do some art for you. Great show tonight.
Oh, thanks very much. We will totally talk. I have not looked at my Facebook messages on Geekvolution in a few days. DJ, I don't always get like messages, like emails when those come in, and Facebook is set up in such a way with the like fan pages and stuff where it's kind of hard to tell when you have messages unless you're directly going in. And I don't get enough over there that I'm like actively checking it. So like I just won't even see when I get messages over there. So my apologies. I honestly keep forgetting I have an inbox over there because I don't get a lot of messages at Facebook. I get them in other places.
Yeah, well, maybe we can check that out. I didn't know.
I will go look at that.
I didn't know you were an artist. He's popped up in these live shows before, so that's cool.
I didn't know that either. But yeah, thanks for volunteering, and I will totally consider taking you up on that for something. Okay, DJ, I want to talk about something that happened to me over the weekend.
Do it. I'm gonna run and get my water cup across the room because I forgot it. I'll be right back.
Oh man, I hope it's the love of my life again. We'll see what it looks like. Is she? Oh, it's not her.
Scooby-Doo this crap.
It's not her. Oh, it's so sad.
I'm sorry.
I'm surprised you haven't burned that cup as much as you don't care for that movie.
Hey, like, if a cup works, a cup works. I'm not like that. I just need the cup.
I'm shocked it's not an Uncharted cup or something. Like, something like that yet.
I haven't been back to the
Oh,
theater
good
in a
point.
while. I think that's the last thing. Someone posted in the Discord, "Do you have the Morbius one yet?" And I was like,
Is there a
"No,
Morbius one?
there's a Morbius."
I kind of want that
If we go
just because
see,
it's
oh,
funny.
my wife just went and saw the new Fantastic Beasts movie, and I don't think she got a cup. She always gets a cup. I wonder why she didn't. I'll have to talk to her about
Shame
that.
on you, Grace. I want to see what the next cup featuring a movie we don't like is.
That's all they make. Well, yeah,
Well, you
they're
don't like
all.
any of the movies, so it's easy.
We have a Skyfall one or James Bond one that I haven't seen that movie yet, but I'm
That
sure
movie's great.
I'm sure that'll be better than Spider-Man and Birds of Prey, and
Oh,
we'll
I
see.
almost bought that Birds of Prey cop. Okay, so over the weekend, something happened to me and my son that has never happened to me in 13 years of doing Geekvolution. Do you know about this? If I told you about this, DJ?
Were you abducted by aliens?
No, that has happened.
Oh,
That's
okay.
that's a whole.
Yeah, that's old news. That's old news. We'll
That
talk about
doesn't
that
have
later.
anything to do with Geekvolution. Well, I'm not sure. They may have actually wanted to probe my mind to figure out how I could possibly be as scatterbrained and horribly organized as I am. They're like studying
They're like, this
the
man
human
devoted
condition.
2 years of his life to Spawn. We've got to check out his brain. There's got to
Yeah,
be something wrong with it in there.
exactly. Yeah. What has led this man to always say overt kill instead of overkill? We have to know. So, DJ, I did so two things. I did a thing that I never thought I'd do, which is I helped my son make a TikTok video, and the second thing is that video went viral. And in
Oh
13
wow,
years, I've never had a video do as well as this did, and it was on a different platform,
that's
and I didn't even.
hey. When you were making that video game secrets, I told you they would do good on TikTok, and you ended up not doing it because it couldn't be long enough. I think it was only like 60 seconds, and he wanted to do longer videos.
Well, and they let you do like 3 minutes now. So no, it was more.
Oh,
I was trepidatious about that platform because of just how volatile it can be. And I know YouTube is sort of like that too, but like I'm at least in this space. It's easier for me to look
oh yeah,
at.
yeah,
I knew that if we went to YouTube, the majority of people that would go to Jason would be our subscribers, and it might be a little bit safer, right?
yeah.
Well,
That's true.
well, he's older now and a little bit, and I finally decided to break down and let him do exactly what you're talking about. Start putting the video game secrets videos over on TikTok. And they were doing actually marginally better than they were on YouTube, even without me saying anything about it on the channel. So they weren't my people. It's brand new people
Yeah, I
finding him.
didn't know you did this.
Some of his friends from school, and then just other people out in the ether finding his videos. And so I think as of last week, before we had a video go viral, the video game secrets video, Jason does these minute to 3 minute long videos that are really well researched, telling you about interesting tidbits about video games that you probably have never heard before, even if you know a lot about video games. I've shown these to people that really know their stuff that are like, I never knew that. I don't know how he found that out. Jason's really good at research, and it's one of his favorite things to do, going all the way back to when he was a really little kid, and he knows how to do it. I've never had to teach him anything. He knows how to find information. He knows how to make sure that it's viable. He knows how to explain it without it being just regurgitating. He's a good writer. Like, he really knows what he's doing. I've never had to tell him anything with these. They're just good.
No, yeah, it's crazy. I mean, just watching those, they seemed perfect for that platform. That's a very like informational, like quick, like get it out. That they seemed like they would fit perfectly there. I'm not surprised that they're doing well over there because that's
Well, the
that kind of
highest viewed
content.
video that was there over the weekend, before we did this anyway, by like Friday, was like 700 views, which is pretty good and way better than anything had done on YouTube so far.
Yeah.
And so then we shot. Well, I say we made a TikTok video. We made a YouTube short that Jason then asked me for permission to put on his TikTok, and I said yes, and that's the one that went viral. So it was a short that I posted last week that was a joke about Sonic, and the joke
Oh.
was, Jason goes, hey Dad, I popped my Sonic, and I just look at him and I go, what? And he says, like, or he says, get it? He goes, like you pop your knuckles. And that was the joke. You pop your knuckles. He popped his Sonic. That was the joke. And I was like, he says that to me, and it took me a minute. I didn't get it right away. And then once I got it, I was laughing real hard, and I was like, I don't know, what if we shot that and just posted it as a short and see how it does? There's 11 seconds. It's all it was. We posted it to YouTube, and I told Austin, I said, I could see that maybe going viral. It, as of right now, it has like 600, 650 views on YouTube. On TikTok, let's see what the exact count is right now. We posted this on Friday or Saturday, and on TikTok right now, it has 3,000, or I'm sorry, pardon me, that was a different video, 362,000.
Jeez. Holy cow.
And it's been going up a ton every day. It keeps
Well, yeah,
getting
once
spiked.
it gets bigger,
It's actually at 378 now.
It's like a snowball. Like the more views it has, the more people it's going to be put in front of because of the algorithm.
It's gone up even
Dad,
more
I popped
since.
my Sonic.
So anyway, this is the video.
What?
Get it? Cause you pop your knuckles?
And that was it. That was the video.
The funniest part is the baby crying at the
Yes,
end.
exactly. And that's part of the reason that we ended up using that take. But yeah, so it's a mixed bag. Like, it's cool that it happened. It's cool for Jason because he's getting more views or more looks on the videos he's really wanting people to see, his informative videos, and none of them are going viral and getting huge, but he's posting these trivia videos there about video games. They're doing like 1,500 views, like way better than he expected to be able to do over there. He's already got some like 400, 450 followers there. And I was really hoping that maybe he would take off, and that's the thing that has helped him do that. So
That's
yeah,
it's awesome, man. I'm so happy for him.
it's cool. Like I said, it's a mixed bag because there's a lot of really mean-spirited comments, and I've
Yeah,
been a little bit
that's-
concerned about how that might affect him. And he's taken it really well in stride so far. I don't know if you knew this. According to some of the commenters, I'm a drug addict and I need a shower.
Oh, well, I've been telling you that for years. You don't listen to me. Maybe you'll listen to the commenters. No, yeah, that would give me pause because he's so young and impressionable. That even if you do take it in stride, like that stuff is just nasty.
Yeah.
But that's, you really got to understand that's just how some people are. Like, just say whatever's in their head and they don't care because they don't have to see you.
So this is really great. Nicholas Robinson comes in the comments, who's one of our viewers and is familiar with video game secrets, but didn't know that was Jason. And maybe just found that over the weekend. Like, that's how viral this video has gone. Like, people are knowing Jason now who aren't, like, I'm in that video, but for like a second and a half, nobody knows who I am.
Yeah, you're just the quick Danny DeVito, Always Sunny type pan shot where you just.
Yeah, it's not going to help me. It's not going to help Geekvolution because nobody knows that it's me.
Yeah.
But I'm really happy for him. And now I'm taking some credit for it because it was my idea to make that a video.
It was his joke, man.
But it was his joke. Yeah, no, of course. Absolutely. Mutale, could Jason overshadow Cap in the future? I think absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, sure. He's got a head start on you.
Well, and the kinds of videos he's made, like, he's more savvy about what, obviously, his generation wants from videos. And, like, the younger, to some degree, at a certain cap off, like, the younger you are getting started, the better of a shot you have to have a long career because, I'm kind of age-wise past my prime. Like, people come to the internet just like with actors back in the day, DJ, like, your life's kind of over at 35, and like, I don't mean to say that that I'm necessarily, ready to hang this up or anything. I mean, I've got a big family and other things to do. I have considered it. I've done it a long time, but I still enjoy what I do. But I mean, we have a good following. I'm just saying that I think if I started at the age I am now, it would be harder to get traction than the age that I actually started, is the point I'm making.
Yeah, makes sense.
Nicholas Robinson says he had no clue. Silent Jason could be a big content creator someday if that's what he wants to do. Yeah, I think so too. And I think he's just really good at it. And he's shortened to the point. He knows how to be brief. I'm hoping he doesn't lose that as he gets older and gets more analytical. But that's the thing I've always kind of struggled with. And yeah, he knows how to edit. He's got the chops for that kind of quick cut stuff.
Yeah, and if he can take the negative comments, then he'll be fine. I was trying to find. I really wanted to read. I got the most negative. My favorite comment that I've ever gotten was someone calling me like the most soy person they've ever seen. Like I can't even remember how they phrased it, but I'm apparently like not a man because I collect movies. Like I'm a wimpy little soy boy. It was amazing. It was a glorious comment. I wish I could find it.
You know what's really funny about that? And I don't mean to sound sexist when I say this. I don't know women that do that. I mean, they're out there, but like my wife looks at the movie collecting thing as more of a guy thing.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you like media, and I'm like this even a lot less than you are, but like, you care about like aspect ratio and like video quality, and like that's a stereotypical guy thing. It's like boys and their toys to some women. They kind of see it that way. So I just think it's really funny that somebody was like, oh man, you're not even a man, you collect movies.
Yeah, it's so weird. But hey, that's YouTube for you.
There were also a lot of comments, and then we'll get back to questions. We are an hour and 10 minutes in. We're out of super chats, I think, or maybe there's one. And
there is one about what we're talking about, though. It's Spencer Nielsen. He says, "Wait, those videos are all Jason? I'm impressed."
Yeah. So I had nothing to do with any of that, besides deciding we should do the one for the viral video, but that was still Jason. But yeah, all of that scripted content, that's all Jason, 100%. He early on, he showed me the first one and kind of expected me to give him some criticism so that he could change things. I made one comment, and that was, your music's overpowering your dialogue. That's it. Yeah. He dropped that a little bit, and then that's it. He was on his way. Nothing about content, nothing about editing, nothing about visuals. I've never had a note for him. Hardly.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I was very impressed by how succinct and clear and to the point he is.
I think he's really smart at looking at what else is out there and taking the right lessons from them.
Yeah, that's actually a really, really good quality to have, and something that I don't think me or you are good at because we don't have time to watch YouTube videos.
And he's not ripping people off. I think he's making it his own. Yeah. But he's taking some of he's taking some pointers from people where like he knows what kinds of language should be in thumbnails. He hasn't quite figured out separating text from backgrounds and that kind of thing. He doesn't quite have the graphic design brain yet, but he's my son. But because I have that problem myself. But beyond that, like his videos look like some more successful and well done, I don't know, informative and biography type videos in the right ways, I think. So yeah. Anyway,
you might have a little documentarian on your hand there.
I think so. Yeah. Well, and he likes researching video games more than he likes actually making them. I don't mean to spend all this time gushing about my kid, but it was just nuts that 13 years I'm finally in a viral video. It's not even mine.
I found it. I'm sorry. I totally found it.
I have a couple of videos that are close to that view count. I have a couple of rewinds that are at like 200, I think, but I've never seen 387. Like,
yeah, that's crazy.
I don't think
the number of comments is like 1,400. It's crazy.
Like 40,000 thumbs ups or something.
Yeah. It says, so this is a comment I got on one of my videos from Andrea. I'm going to call you from Andrea Vince, whatever. You couldn't be any more soy even if you tried. What is happening with men nowadays? It was amazing. First of all, I had to look up what soy meant because I didn't even know what that meant. But it was great.
Well, that was the thing about the comments in that TikTok, DJ, is just over and over again, people were saying some of the same things, and I felt like I was reading like a thread written by aliens, where it's like, I'm not from the same planet these people are from. I don't know what they're talking about. One of them was over and over again. Well, the word floater kept coming up. I don't know what that means. And then there was one that people kept saying where it was like, please explain in Fortnite terms. Just all these inside jokes that I don't know anything about. And then future Reddit mods and future Discord mods. That came up over and over again.
Oh, interesting. So it's an insult to be a Discord mod?
That's I guess. I don't know I don't know why, but apparently so.
That is the second video that comes up when you type in video game secrets.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
A lot of people just sharing it, though. Like, a lot of comments just adding other people. So they like it. They're sharing it. I mean, obviously, there wouldn't have got big if people weren't sharing it. That's awesome, man. That's so cool. I'm glad you shared that. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's a little daunting. It's a little scary, too, because I don't know how I feel about my 12-year-old being on that platform. And I'm going to watch it like a hawk. But,
yeah. I wonder, can you turn off comments on there?
I don't know if you can. I don't know.
I wonder about that. Anyway, shall we get to some pre-writtens? I haven't seen any super chats come in.
Let's do that. So we'll take a few pre-writtens, and then if we don't see any more super chats, we'll go ahead and start wrapping things up, because we started late, and we've got After Dark to do. Brandon will be here after a little while, but feel free to throw in some more super chats, and you can make the show continue for a while longer. Go ahead, man.
All right, I'm going to ask this one because Nicholas Robinson has asked this several times throughout the night. It is top 5. It's going to be hard. Sorry. It's going to be top 5 animated series intro sequences.
So I've always wanted to make this video.
We should just do the video.
And that doesn't mean that I already know what my ranking is, but going way back to the second or third year of Superhero Rewind, I considered doing this. And I've also wanted to do top soundtracks for movies, which DJ and I are actually going to do as an off-the-cuff discussion video in the not-too-distant future. We're planning on doing that in next month sometime, we're hoping. But those were two things that I had on my brain for the longest time. And when I finally did a rewind like that, DJ, when I was doing them scripted, it was top 10 movie intro sequences. I did opening credits, but I've never done the TV show thing.
Yeah. So we should keep it a superhero, right? He didn't say this, but I think we should keep it a superhero.
It would be easier on my brain if we just kept it superhero, and that was the video I wanted to make. So I'll just go ahead and say this now, and then I can cut this out and make it a video, and then I'll sort of have that. But I might do something down the line that's a little bit more detailed, and this list could change, because I'm going to do this off the cuff right now, and I'm sure I'll forget something major. But it's hard not to do this based entirely on theme songs, DJ. Like, you want to consider every aspect of it, because there's a lot of them and there's a lot of really good ones, but it's really hard not to just go, what are the earwormy songs, throw them in there.
Spider-Bug, radioactive Spider-Bug.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what's not going to make the list is like the generic terrible techno music for Spider-Man Unlimited that is not catchy at all.
No, not at all. It sounds like it's just part of score. Like, what is that doing there?
Oh, man.
I could almost just forget every other animated series and just give it all to DCE or DCAU if I wanted to. Like, most of those intros are great. Batman Animated Series, Superman Animated Series, Batman Beyond. It would be really easy to just do that, but of course I'm not going to do that. Batman Animated Series definitely has to be in there, of course. I don't know where that ranks, but let me just figure out what the 5 are. So we'll do this like we did last week with animated Batman movies, DJ. Just help me remember the ones that I said, and then we'll rank them. Okay. So right away, I know I have to include Batman TAS. It's one of the greatest intros of all time because it has no words on the screen, because it knows you know what that is, and it's confident enough not to even have to say it's Batman. Like, that's
and it's
brilliant.
It's
a sequence.
It's not clips from the show, is it?
No.
Is it an actual, like, that's when it's awesome, is when it's not just, like, the Spider-Man one is just a bunch of clips from the show jammed in there, and I love the song,
and about
but it's
95 explosions.
Yeah. It just keeps going. Yeah, but when they do like a custom-made intro, that's when it's really, really cool.
Yeah. Well, and with Batman TAS, the intro was based on their concept cartoon that they pitched to the studio, and then they just took that and reworked it and made it the intro for the show. But yeah, so that's in there. The X-Men intro is definitely in there, based solely on the Wasserman song. And I like I've always liked the editing of that too, because it's real.
That also has some original stuff in it too. It's not just clips.
It does have so that's true. It does have some original
like when
stuff.
they all have like their call signs when their thing comes up, and it's all an original animation, which is cool.
I mean, I think that intro was like 40% of the popularity of that show. That it's just so eye-catching, and it draws you in, and it's got that early 90s X-Men, Liefeld art, and
yeah. Well, I'm glad some Marvel got on your list.
Yeah,
X-Men, that's good.
So there's two. Beyond that,
what are people saying? Throw them in the comments, guys. Let me see.
Yeah, throw out things that you think I might say. Just based
I'm
on
seeing
stuff
Justice League Unlimited, Spider Blood.
Yeah, definitely. I just Justice League Unlimited. I don't care for the way they do those intros because they show you images of the episode you're about to see before you've seen it. I hate that.
Oh, weird.
The song's okay. Superman, I like a lot. I don't know if I like it enough to get it in the 5 if I've already got a DCAU thing. And so Batman Beyond, I'm thinking tentatively because I love that intro, but I know there's a lot of other stuff.
I like Earth's Mightiest Heroes, but it is kind of funny now. It's like so 2005 like grunge rock song. It's hilarious, but it's great, and I still love it.
The Tick I have to put in there because that theme song is lovely, and it is just images from the show, but they pick some of the weirder ones, and it just gives you a really good taste of what that experience is going to be like. So I have to put that in there. So that's 3. I don't know if I would actually use this. Blue Dragon 5 says, I did really like the Danny Phantom intro. Yeah, but I don't know that show super well, and I don't remember it well enough right now in the moment to include it. I don't know if I would actually include this, DJ, but I like the Superhero Squad intro a lot.
I've never seen that.
That song is done by a group called Perry Grip that does almost exclusively kid songs about food and phone apps and things. It was real early in their career, and that song sounds sort of like an Offspring song, and I like the Offspring a lot, so it's hard not to include that. I don't know if I would. Powerpuff Girls I have to put in there. Yeah, thanks, Silent Kite. Absolutely, Powerpuff Girls is in there.
This is really tough for me. I'm not remembering.
So that's 4. Spectacular Spider-Man is really good, and that's a really heartwarming song too. So I could see that as maybe my 5th. Let's see what else people remind me of.
Yeah, Spectacular is one of the first ones I thought of.
Oh,
I mean,
Brave and the Bold, though.
I mean,
has a wonderful intro sequence. Have you ever seen the intro sequence for Batman Brave and the Bold?
I've not.
Okay, it's got like cityscapes that are made up of the names of all the obscure characters that might show up in the show. It's cool.
I would love that.
It's really good, and it's got and it's got, of course, like throwback kitschy like 60 poppy music that's really great. But then I also like I like both the Batman intros.
Yeah, I would have to put the Batman. I was just gonna say that. Like, how do you not put that on your list? I like the first one better than the second.
Nicholas Robinson says, "Isn't Powerpuff Girls a cartoon?" I thought we were doing cartoons. So if it's a cartoon, I can't use it because the animated series is more dramatic. Is that what you're saying? I'm roping them all together for the sake of this. Oh, Gargoyles too, though. Well, I didn't think of that.
But you gotta, like, how can you have a list and not put the 60s Spider-Man?
That's rough.
Like that theme is like,
because the intro itself doesn't do anything for me, and I didn't grow up with that show, so like that's definitely not one of my favorite. I mean, you're right, that's an iconic song, but like I only knew that by osmosis growing up. I never saw that show, so like I knew that more from just people like humming it and singing it than I did it, and just.
But
like,
that's a testament to how iconic it was. Like
I know, but we're not just doing music; we're also doing the intro itself.
You started the whole conversation with "It's hard not to just think of the music."
I know. I said it's hard. I'm gonna resist the urge. I'm not picking that over Spectacular if I even use a Spider-Man. It's hard not to make this 7 or 8 at this point because Gargoyles is brilliant, and it's really hard not to pick that. Yeah,
give us
Transformers. I'm not gonna count as superhero for the sake of this. I'm throwing all of that stuff out.
Yeah.
Darkwing Duck has a good intro. I don't think I would use it. Oh,
Yeah, I'm trying to think
Shantae
of
and the Ninja Turtles 04 show does have a great intro. We're not
Oh, yeah.
03, but yeah,
03.
I wasn't even thinking about that.
That's true.
Crazy. Can I do
1,
10?
2,
Because
3,
5's
4, 1,
really
2,
hard. Okay, what things have we thrown out so far? So Batman Animated Series is definitely there. X-Men is definitely there. Tick, Powerpuff Girls, both definitely have to be there, which means my 5th spot makes me want to punch myself in the face.
Turtles. Just do Turtles.
It's gonna be because it's Turtles or it's Gargoyles or it's. I hate to throw out Spectacular Spider-Man, but I guess I have to at this point. And I'm not gonna pick another Batman because I just have too many contenders. Even though I'm gonna say Turtles.
Yeah, we did it.
It's so earwormy, like, and it also has great visuals too. So it's not just the song, but like.
Yeah.
The
It's
way
all
my
original.
kids respond to, especially Mikey, to watch out for Shredder.
I was just gonna say
every
watch out for
time,
Shredder.
yeah.
It zooms in on he's standing on the top of his building. It's so cool with like the silhouette.
And that's not all just images from that show either. They did original artwork for that.
Most of it I think is original.
Well, and of course, I love the original '87 intro as well, but the '03 show definitely goes over it just a tad. And I even like the 2012 one, but not as much as those two.
Yeah. And the 03 does such a like they're so good at using it as like a stinger. Like they'll have a stinger at the beginning and then it'll cut to that song and it's like yes.
It's really good. Yeah.
We gotta watch some of that show. How have we never watched some of that show?
We should do a marathon. It's on Paramount Plus.
Ugh.
So we'll just we'll turn it on and we'll watch part of an episode and then it'll crap out on us and then we'll make fun of the horrible subtitles. And it'll be great. We'll talk about this great show and how horrible the streaming service is that it's on. It'll be wonderful.
I have to be there for that marathon.
That sounds definitely amazing. I won't do it without you. You guys, especially
awesome.
After you said how we've never watched that together. Like, I didn't even think about that. You're right.
I've seen all 7 seasons of that show.
And I'm not familiar with anything past, like, the first season and a half. Have you, I mean, spotty
6 and 7
after
are
that.
terrible. 6 and 7 you don't have to watch them.
I've heard that. Well, and of what I've seen of it, I don't care for it as much once they start going to space.
Oh, but 6 and 7 changed the theme song.
Yeah.
One is the future one, and then oh my gosh, 7 is the worst song. Back to the sewers. Oh,
right.
Terrible.
I forgot about that.
Terrible.
No, everybody complains about how bad what is it? Fast Forward? Is that what they called it?
Fast Forward is 6, and then Back to the Sewers is 7. Just watch 1 through 5. They're amazing.
We will try to do that soon. Although I've been on shows announcing a lot of things recently, but hopefully in the not too distant future we can get to a Turtles marathon. Anyway, okay, DJ, do we have another super chat we haven't hit yet?
We do not, sir. Oh, we have one. Yes,
I thought we had one. Yes.
John Ty came in with
Hi, John.
$5 for since we are 3 years into the pandemic. How have you been doing? Oh, just to check in.
Oh, thanks. Pretty good. I mean, the world has changed a lot more than my life has.
It's true. I've just been working from home. I think that's, I mean, we were lucky enough to not like lose our job or anything. So that,
right.
I mean, my wife lost her job. I say that my wife lost her job, but she has a better one that she likes better now. So that kind of worked out for us. But
honestly, I totally forgot about that for a second. Yes, of course.
Yeah. And I cut down to 80% pay for 2021. But we're back to normal now. But I still haven't had to go back to the office. So that's been fun. We're just both working from home still. So
you guys weathered it fine, but it actually did technically negatively impact you guys much more than it did Sarah and I.
Yeah.
We barely felt it, and Sarah, and I'm not bragging when I say that, we just got lucky, right? Like that we already had a situation, and I've mentioned this before, but since he asked, we had a situation where we already homeschool for the most part. It was kind of sad that we couldn't take the kids to the school they go to for a couple days a week because it was Freddie's first grade year. He'd only gone 1 year, and like that was, you know, that was, or no, it was his kindergarten year. He only got to go 1 day a week, and that was sucky for him. But Sarah worked from home, and she found that she was more productive, and like a lot of people have had, and much preferred working from home. She's an architect, and it worked out well for her. I made more content than normal, and we started the Discord and for Patreon, and I got to know those guys really well. We were doing a lot of activities there, and the viewership was better during the heaviest days of the pandemic because people were at home with nothing to do, and I think everybody on YouTube did well because of that. So I mean, it actually positively impacted me in some ways, but obviously I hated what it was doing to people that had to go work and couldn't. Like, I wouldn't wish it on anybody. I guess the worst thing that happened to me was actually much later, DJ, when my wife and I actually ended up finally coming down with the virus, with the strain that happened over Christmas, where a lot more people were getting it.
Yeah.
And we had, and I hate to say this, it wasn't anybody's fault. And I mean, we handled it as well as we could. The kids were great, but like, we had the worst Christmas I've had as an adult. It was rough. Like,
yeah, I remember you telling me about that. That was
dealing with that illness while taking care of very small babies, both of which also got sick. And yeah, that was rough. I spent overnight Christmas up the entire night. I was up for like 36, 48 straight hours over Christmas because Selena was so stuffy she just couldn't go to sleep, and so I had to stay up with her the entire night. It was the worst Christmas ever. But we got through it, and everything's good now, and they're older now, and they're a little bit easier to deal with, and they're getting more fun. They've got, more personalities now, and they're more fun to play with and stuff, so.
Yeah, man. Dude, that's awesome. I'm so happy for you guys that you're doing well. And
well, thanks.
I mean, that was the question. We answered it perfectly. He asked how you're doing. Gave him the whole rundown.
We could have just done, but again, I could have been more brief about it, because it could have just been, I'm going to make a Tick reference some of you guys aren't going to get, but it could have been the Tick in the Tick versus Protoclown, where he's having an existential crisis, and he goes, he's being led by his mind, who hasn't been around much lately because he's easily distracted by shiny objects, and it's floating with little wings on the sides of its head, and it leads him through an existential journey through his own head. And there's a part where they go up to a sphinx head of the Tick, and he can only ask it one question, and his question is, "How you doing?" And then just a big thumb comes out of the ground like this, and he's like, "Thumbs up, we must be doing fine." So I could have just done that. He was like, "Hey, how you doing?" I could have just gone, "Thumbs up, we must be doing fine."
Brandon just revealed himself.
Yeah,
that was
Brandon's
the best part of that whole story. Him just going, Nicholas Robinson.
In that show.
Nicholas Robinson must be newer, or just newer to this show. He says, "Why do you call yourself a welder if you're not a welder?"
I feel like we've seen him in the comments before. Maybe not.
I don't know if he's...
Welcome if you're new, Nicholas. Or maybe he just has only come in between the raindrops on shows where we've not broken down for the umpteenth time what the welder means.
Yeah, the welder is just a joke actually based on this show, because that name was born on this show by the commenters. Just because...
We're frauds. We're not responsible for anything cool that ever happens.
We're not creative at all. All I did was sign up to be an extra on Spider-Man Homecoming, and then everything else was thrust upon me. They thrust the welder's helmet upon me, and they thrust the welder's jacket upon me, said stand in the back of this scene and weld this while Tom and Jacob shoot this scene, and then the welder was born.
And now DJ is one of a lot of our subscribers' favorite MCU villain, but... keep in mind his competition. It's just not been that stiff. There are a few great MCU villains now, but even still, not as stiff as it might have been. Although I'm not going to put you over Michael Keaton.
Oh, of course not. But what about Michael Keaton and Morbius? Do I at least have him?
Well, sure. Sure, but I mean... like, not having any lines of dialogue is much better than one of your only lines of dialogue being, "I hope the food's better in this joint."
That's amazing. So yeah, Nicholas, it's just a joke that was born out of the Captain Logan show about referencing the little short.
Yeah, I thought you've been with us for a long time. He says, "I've been watching your content for years. I'm not new." But we were just surprised that you hadn't heard about the welder yet. It's amazing that you missed that, because we end up having to bring it up a lot.
Yeah, you're better off for it. I'm glad that you've avoided it for this long, because it keeps coming up. But yeah, my channel is called The Welder.
I was going to say, quick plug, make sure you go watch the Welder channel.
Yeah, The Welder, No Space, talking about classic movies, talking about collecting, and a lot of the people from Geekvolution coming over there doing videos with me.
Just
They're really cool guys.
Precisely what you would expect from a channel called The Welder.
Exactly. I mean, spot on.
Yeah.
No false advertising here.
I'm excited to, at some point, finally get to do a video with you on that channel.
I know, man. I've had Connor on a bunch. I've had Austin on a few times. I'm having Dan on this weekend. Why are you? I've had my wife on.
Because the one time I was supposed to be on, you canceled it on me.
Yes. We'll do that soon because that's still going to be a fun series. I want to bring you on.
Nicholas Robinson, again, most of your content I watch is Superhero Rewind. Well, sorry about not being able to put those out recently. I have 5 kids. I don't have time to write. I'm trying to do the unscripted show more often, which I realize is not exactly what Superhero Rewind was, but I want to get back to talking about old superhero movies, even if I can only do it off the cuff. And thanks again for folks that have supported that. The few episodes of that I've done have done way better than I thought they had any chance of doing, given that they're not scripted. And I did a live one, and it was a lot of fun, and I want to do more of those very soon.
That's exciting.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we're going to go ahead and bid everybody farewell because Brandon is standing next to me listening to one side of this conversation, and because we're getting close to 10 o'clock here, and we have to do Captain Logan After Dark. So if you are not currently a patron, but you'd like to listen to Brandon and I hanging out, talking about things we don't usually talk about on the channel, it's patreon.com/geekvolution. The $2 tier gets you access to it. You can watch it live, or you can watch it after the fact. I'm also right now doing Monday through Friday daily video blogs based on words that the patrons have given me, and I spin a wheel and a word comes up, and I do 5 to 10 minutes or sometimes longer musings over whatever it is we're looking at, kind of introspective, and several heavy ones so far already, DJ. I've had to talk about death. One show was just death. That was the word. And what was it? Oh, one was hope. And then what was the one for? I don't even remember what the one was today. One was on money. What was it? Oh, exercise. Was the one
sweet.
I did today, I think.
I'll have to tune in and watch those. I watched the first 2 and I really enjoyed them, but I need to get back to it.
Man. One was coffee. That was a word that came up, and I had Jason on for just one, and the word that came up happened to be Kansas, which was just perfect. That was a lot of fun.
That's nice.
So anyway, so you can, if you want to come watch that show, you can put in a topic suggestion, or you can just come hang out with us in the comments. We'll interact with you, and Brandon and I bringing in some topics ourselves. Patreon.com/geekvolution. Hope to see you there, and I will have the link to that up in 5 or 10 minutes. If you are subscribed, you will get an email, and then you'll see the link. Thanks a lot for watching. DJ, thanks as always for doing it.
Of course.
This was a lot of fun. I don't know why. I enjoyed this show more than any we've done in a while. This was the 200 show was great, but this is one of our better shows in a while. I think this is a lot of fun.
This was some good conversations, a lot of laughs, a lot of fun.
We laughed, we cried, we spilled milk on our good pants. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching, folks, and we'll see you again real soon. Bye, everybody.